Hello, Hope Heroes PR. I'm providing you with this video feedback to give you some guidelines and instructions on the revisions and changes you need to make to your paper in order to be successful when you submit your final campaign book at the end of the semester. So here's your title page and table of contents. You still need to write the executive summary. And now we come to the situation analysis, the first chapter in any public relations campaign book. And the first section in the situation analysis requires you to describe your client organization's background, mission, and values. Let's make sure we spell the client's name correctly throughout the paper. Would be helpful, right? It is located, blah, blah, blah. Unless you somewhere in the sentence explain what it is, it's essentially an incomplete sentence. So we could just say Seco instead of it here, right? I've also made some other changes here and minor edits and revisions to try to help you along, improve the quality of the paper. Again, here we have an unspecified reference. This would reduce the costs associated with employing international staff members. Well, what is this? We don't know in the sentence, so it's incomplete. And then there's no explanation of why employing international staff members is more expensive than employing domestic staff members. So we need some explanation there. Future plans for Seco include the opportunity. Future plans include the opportunity. I don't know what that means. And Parkinson's disease through a full-day adult program. Young and aging adults. Okay, well, that's okay. And I've made some other little changes as we go along here. Again, we have some this unspecified references. So, program costs for families are offset with annual fundraising efforts, which currently account for over 50% of the cost of the program. So the annual fundraising efforts currently account for over 50% of the cost of the program. I think this sentence is just garbled, but I literally have no idea what you're trying to say there. Okay? And here we have some, I don't know that needs to be indented. I don't know why that's indented necessarily. Let's fix that. Well, no, it pulls the number out, doesn't it? I don't know what's going. Maybe it's a format paragraph. Is it a hanging indent? It is for some reason. Let's get rid of that. And this is numbered, so let's see if we go like. Well, it's still not working too well, is it? Here, that works. For some reason. Goodness. Well, what you submitted was a text edit document. So certainly the formatting is a really critical issue here. Because a text edit document is not a Word document. It's going to be really hard to format here unless you're using a Word document. Let me see if I can get this to work. We could go out. There we go. There's 2, 3. Well, I don't know why it did that. Getting worse by the minute, so I'm going to try to help you here. But it's not seeming to work. Get all of this here, back to 2, back to Arial, and see if we can get a number to go in here. I can't get it to do it. I don't know what to do here. Maybe we'll just go like this. There we go, kind of. See if we can still get it to go to Arial. 12, and then double space it, and that's much better. I wasn't able to find an opportunity statement in your problem and opportunity statement, so you'll need to include that here, okay? Gone through the SWOT analysis. Don't ever use the word great. Social media is an effective tool for producing, or maybe not effective, but it's a different word than great. Use a word that explains why something's great. Don't say great, fantastic, amazing, awesome, right? Those are meaningless words that we don't use in PR. So use a word that explains why it's a great tool, okay? Again, we've got they currently serve children, but we don't know who they is. I don't know what Noodle is either. I check your citation here. This. The public school system is federally funded. Is that accurate? Or is it funded by the state and the county? Or is it just government funded? So most of the resources that fund schools are local, actually within the county. And then they get some state and federal money as well. But they're not, I don't know why why they're federally funded is in here. So just be sure that you're factually accurate in all of your content. In the market research, you need to explain how many people and families Seco currently serves, right? That would be good information to have. And then here it looks like you're saying that there are 157 people in Seco's total potential service population. Is that the maximum number of people with cerebral palsy in the Orlando area that Seco could serve? Is that accurate? I think I would check my information here. So we need here, you need to provide much more detailed quantitative information in terms of how frequently Seco posts on its social media platforms, which you've got 0.95 tweets per day, which is good. They post more frequently on Facebook or Instagram. Well, how frequently is that? What's the average here? And how frequently do they post on Instagram? What is the average amount of engagement? How many likes, shares, comments, on average, does each Facebook post get? Or each, how much engagement on average does each Twitter post or each Instagram post get? So we need some more detailed development in the content here. Publics and stakeholders is rather undeveloped, but it's okay for now, right? We don't ever have just a heading on the bottom of a page. We would actually go to a next page like that. And now we're at the campaign plan. Starts at the top of the page. And the campaign plan is actually where this book is really weak. So increasing followers and engagement by 10% is an objective on Twitter and Instagram, but not Facebook. So why not Facebook? I'm confused. If Facebook is their strongest platform, why aren't we going to make sure that we use Facebook in the campaign? And then recruit 2 sponsors for the event, gain 5 registers, and mark up 20 attendees. I don't know what that means. How many people sponsored the event last year? How many people registered for the event last year? How many people marked up attendees last year? And then you could give us a percentage and an overall number for the increase. And so it looks like there's a social media strategy here. Twitter needs to be capitalized, right? Twitter is capitalized. And so that's fixed. I'm not sure though. 1 to 2 posts a day, so just randomly we'll decide. Some days one, some days two, some days on Facebook. Well, wait a minute. Facebook wasn't included in the goals and the objectives, but it's in the strategies and tactics. But randomly we'll decide some days one, some days 3 posts on Facebook. No. You need to be much more specific than that, right? There's no timeline here. I mean, this is just, I mean, I don't, Jan 18 to May 1. Is this 2020? This timeline needs to provide detailed information on what's going to happen over the course of your campaign. Here's the example you were provided, right? Strategies and tactics. And here's your timeline, right, that tells us. Your timeline should tell us, and your tactics should tell us exactly how many times, what posts, what times of day, how many days of week over the course of the campaign. And then a budget here. Why is there a food budget? Are you feeding people? Where is feeding people part of the campaign? Is this a budget for the event? And where do you account for the time it will require to generate and post content on social media? This looks like a budget for an event, which means that you'd need to include how much it's costing for, I just don't understand. You're not, the goal of the campaign is to increase awareness and do these other things, then you don't need to include the cost of the event, right? The cost of the campaign. How many hours a week is it going to require for somebody to create and post content on social media? Nowhere in your measurement and criteria and evaluation plan is there a single number. And we don't use PR, right? We'd say public relations. This is just very generic, seemingly vague and meaningless content here. What are the objectives? How will you determine whether or not your campaign met its objectives? Your campaign plan is what, 2 pages. It needs to be at least 5. And most of this content can go because there are no criteria here. Criteria means numbers in explaining how you will determine whether or not your campaign met the numbers that were set in your objectives. Bibliography is incomplete and certainly not an APA style. And there are no appendices, right? I don't see any appendices like are provided in the example that you were given to use as a model for your campaign book. So good start, but quite a bit of work to do, guys, especially on this campaign plan. It's just generally it's feeble and underdeveloped.